Om Akhanda Mandalakaram Vyaptam Yen Characharam Tatpadam Darshidam Yen Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Ajnanatimidandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurmilitam Yen Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Deva Maheshwara Guru Sakshat Parabrahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Gurubhyo Namah. So, we have 2 days of satsang. Today, one morning, afternoon, tomorrow, also twice. Can you hear me at the back?
Yes.
You're okay. So, you have a choice. I may not agree with the choice, but you have a choice, and the choice is that we can have a satsang, small bhashan now, and then you can keep some time for question answers. However, there are lots of people who have come thinking they are going to get Kriya. New, not old, who are not practicing. So, no. So, for them, this time in the course of the satsang, we have not fixed any time for Kriya. It's not been given to me. But I would also take some time off to, some time during the satsang, to discuss what Kriya is. That much we can do. And then after listening to that, those who really want to take Kriya can decide, and then we'll work in some way this time, next time, somehow. I'll explain Kriya to you. That I'll do. Not exact technique. Technique you can decide after my explanation whether you really want to take it. Who is going to cry in the morning? I said, no Kriya this time. So I said, So we'll work on that. Let's go about it in an organic, natural manner. So today's satsang. Tomorrow I want to do some parts of the Narada Bhakti Sutra. Tomorrow. Because people think bhakti is something for illiterate villagers and things like that, which is not true. So I would like you to go through some parts of the Narada Bhakti Sutra. Today, deliberately, I want to take up chapter from the Gita, because I don't want people to think that this is what I am saying, but Gita is saying something else. But what I am saying is also what Gita is also saying, or rather what the Gita is saying is what I am saying. Let's put it that way. It will be more modest. So therefore, since most people are interested in meditation, dhyana and so on. Go anywhere, you say, what are you doing now? Oh, I have joined new dhyana course. Okay, great. How long? After 3 months gone, another dhyana course. So everybody is interested, also the young, in meditation. And let me tell you at the outset, I am very happy to see young people here for the satsang. Because, and young meaning anybody younger than me. I am 68, going to turn 69. So anyone who is younger than me is young. But I also mean the younger generation. Because it is very important that the younger generation understands things in their proper perspective, and also what their heritage has taught them, and not get misled by wrong interpretations and be carried away by, become dependent on, I want to use the word, there are thousands of gurus these days. So, watch out. So, since it is meditation, you can ask me to change if you like. I'm not a dictator, so. But what I was thinking is, let me take up the chapter on meditation called Dhyana Yoga from the Bhagavad Gita. It's very interesting to know what Krishna tells Arjuna about dhyana. Is that okay? Yeah. Then I forgot to bring my spectacles. No, wait, let's see. Sometimes it may adjust. I think it is okay. Depends, I think, on the atmosphere, the place. I think in Kodagu, the eyes have become better. So, we are going to take up the 6th chapter of the Gita. The 6th chapter of the Gita is called Dhyana Yoga. So, what is Dhyana Yoga according to Krishna? As explained to Arjuna. Okay, right. So, as usual, as most chapters, it starts with Shri Bhagavan Vacha. So said the Lord. And what did he say? We'll stick to the translation. Because if you use this, it will become double time. But nice word, language is very good. Instead of saying, Anashrita karma phalam karyam karma karotiya, na sannyasi cha yogi cha na niragnir na achakriya. Doesn't that sound better than saying, it is a man who performs his duties without dependence on the fruits that deserves to be called a sannyasi and a yogi, and not one who avoids work. English, it sounds flat. In Sankhya, it sounds beautiful. Unfortunately, I think only some people here who are studying Ayurveda would know Sanskrit. It's become that difficult now. Find somebody who knows the language. Anybody who is studying Ayurveda? No? Because all the original texts are in Sanskrit. Ashtanga Hridaya, Charaka Samhita, Sushruta Samhita, everything is in Sanskrit. So why I am saying this is, don't think that Sanskrit is only a religious language. It's a great language, which is applicable everywhere. So, anyway, so what does the Blessed Lord say here? He says to Arjuna, it is the person who performs his duties, not worrying about the fruits, that deserves to be called a sannyasi, tall order. Nowadays, who is called a sannyasi? One who, because he is lazy to do any other job, shaves his head and wears saffron robes. What does Krishna say? Not all, some are good sannyasis. Some are really sannyasins. Some are good. So, Krishna says, it is the man who performs his duties without worrying too much about the fruits. I'll explain. We'll go slowly. We have no hurry to rush and finish the chapter. He deserves to be called a sannyasi, a renouncer. That's what sannyasi means, a renouncer. And also a yogin. Here, he is equating the word yogin with the term sannyasi. That's why it says, sa sannyasi cha yogi. So, such a person is called a yogi or a sannyasi. Not one who keeps no fire, Niragni, na akriyaha, or one who does nothing. So, two things to be noted. Don't think that yogi or a sannyasi is a fellow who is so lazy that he can't do any work, so he's taking sannyas. No, not according to the Gita. I see some young people sometimes come to me, "Oh, Guruji, I'm all fed up. Sir, I want to stop working." Then I said, "Then what?" Then I will come to Madhya. I said, "And do what?" No, because I always feel sleepy. I said, "Are you taking ganja?" So he's sleeping sannyas. Or being lazy and not doing any work sannyas. Or can a yogi be one who is a yogi because he's not doing anything at all? In fact, even elderly people who don't do any work, some good friends are here, I tell them, please start working. Even if it is in Chandigarh. Why I am saying this is because the Gita says, according to the Gita, and I take it that the Gita is certainly an authority on these matters. There is no question because it is the essence of the Upanishad. Gita itself is called an Upanishad. Srimad Bhagavad Gita, Upanishads, Brahma Vidyayam, Yoga Shastri, Sri Krishna Arjuna Samvad. This is the Gita. So, the meaning of not keeping the fire, keeps no fire, means in ancient times, householders like you and me used to have a fire at home. This is before the advent of the professional priests. Every householder had a fire with him, the homagum. And every morning offerings were made, which means you are a householder, therefore you are performing the ritual of the fire, which means you are working. You're not now a sannyasi need not keep a fire. Why? Because his inner fire is lit. There is no need of the outer fire. Now the fire that is lit inside is called the fire of Nachiketas. The name was given to this homa, particular homa, which is done inside the body. It's kind of kriya, similar. By Yamadeva himself. It's called the Nachiketa fire or the Nachiketa sacrifice. Nachiketa yajna. So shall we go to a little bit to Nachiketas? Yes. Unless you want me to stick to the Gita. Let's move around a bit. Then you'll get bored. Okay. Somebody said no. There's a rishi who performs a sacrifice. And after performing the sacrifice, you have to give gifts to the Brahmins who have come for the sacrifice. So this young boy, Nachiketas, still very young. So he's standing there and watching his father. After the sacrifice, the father gives cows to the Brahmins who have performed the sacrifice. Cows. So sacrifice are two meanings. One is the actual sacrifice. The other is giving. That is also a sacrifice. Both are important. Otherwise the sacrifice is of no use. So little Nachiketa watches his father giving cows to the Brahmins who have come to perform the sacrifice. And what does he see? Lame cows which cannot walk, blind cows that cannot see, cows which have stopped milk, no more milk available, and such cows which are absolutely useless are being given away as the sacrificial gift to the Brahmins. Something touches Nachiketa's heart or head or whatever you want to call it. The Upanishad says Shraddha entered. Shraddha could mean one-pointed attention. It could also mean devotion, faith, etc. Something got into him. Not from outside, he was not possessed, please. Something got into him. And he said, he asked his father, Dad, he didn't say Dad, of course. Why are you giving away these useless cows to the Brahmana who have come for the sacrifice? Cows which are absolutely useless. Because when you say sacrifice, it means to give what is best for you, to be given to somebody. Right? What is useless? What happened? All clothes which are torn and worn out, I am giving away as donations. And which is also good in some way, but that's not sacrifice. So then he added another question to it. He said, I am your dearest and nearest living being. I am your only little son. Who will you give me to? Will you give me to somebody as a gift, as a sacrifice? Now the Upanishad story says that the Rishi got angry and said, I will send you to death, give you to death. I don't believe it, because he is a Rishi himself. So he won't get angry. If you have Krodha, then you can't, except if you are Durvasa, which is an exception. I think a man said this to this young boy, Nachiketa, so that he really goes and meets the Lord of Death and finds out the secret of immortality and comes back. So he said, I give you to death. So poor little Nachiketa, young boy, immediately is transported to the kingdom of death. Not physically. There, even Yamadeva is taken by surprise, because he has gone to bring some souls from somewhere. He doesn't realize that some new visitor is going to come, because it was ordained by the father, so which also shows that he was a great Rishi. Nobody else can say, you died, you're dead. So anyway, so after 3 days, the great Lord of Death, Yama, comes back. He's very upset. He says, a young guest has come. A young Brahmin guest with a face shining. A Rishiputra has come here. And he sat here in my consultancy or office for 3 days. Nobody has asked him, are you hungry? Nobody has given him water to drink. Nobody has looked after his comfort. This is terrible. This can't be done. So he says, as a compensation for this, ask me 3 days you are sitting here, 3 boons, and I will give them to you. Any 3 boons. It's your choice. So Nachiketa smiles and thinks. First boon he asks, like an innocent little child, that when I go back, may my father happily receive me back. He also adds another thing. He says, may my father recognize me and accept me back. Which means what? The Nachiketas who went and the Nachiketas who comes back after learning about him, what's a different Nachiketas. A man, a little boy full of tejas. Hopefully my father will recognize who this new being is. It's like a rebirth. And maybe his father may not recognize this glowing boy who has come back. That plus may not be angry with me. We have to live together, So please, first prayer. Yamadeva says, granted. Okay. Done. And what's the second? He says, some say there is life after death. And some say this is the end of life. Is there some way where you can attain the higher worlds while still living in this body? Can Can you please explain to me? Yamadeva says, yes, I will explain it to you. It happens when the inner fire of spiritual desire burns bright. So he teaches him how to awaken that fire inside. The fire of, fire is always associated with desire. Somebody says he's burning with desire. Nobody says he's cooling with desire. Burning, which means fire. So Agni, important, one of the devatas who are so important is Agni. So he says, he teaches him how to light that inner fire of desire for the Supreme. There are many kinds of fires. Burning desire for anything. Somehow it's associated with the mind and the heart, the feelings and the emotions, the fire, flame. If I meet after 15, 20 years, some girl whom I used to know in college, how do I describe? Old flame. Do I say old water? So fire. I don't have anybody, I'm just saying. So fire. Maybe. So fire. So he teaches him that fire, awakening of that fire, lighting of that fire in the heart, which can take you to spiritual community. And he says from now on, this fire will be called the Nachiketa's fire. Or the Nachiketa Yajna. In memory of this young boy who came to me and wanted to learn this. Third question. Some say when you die you are finished. Some say you are alive. Is there some way to beat death and stay immortal? Is there some way? Can you teach that? Some way by which I can beat death and never be bothered by mortality and shall remain immortal always. Do you have any such thing? Please give me that as the third boon. You see how important that boon is, that the great Lord of Death, Yamadeva, tries to tempt Nachiketa all kinds of things. He says, don't ask me for this question. Just this answer, please don't ask me for a boon. Because I can give you can become the ruler of the three worlds. I can give you horses and chariots, and dancing girls and music bands and palaces. The Triloka, you can be the king. But don't ask me this. This you ask me, I'll give it to you immediately. Nachiketa thinks for a while and opens his eyes and says, if you think it is so important that you want to offer me all these bribes, doesn't say bribes, I would rather have that and not any of these things. He also says, actually, keep your dance and music to yourself. I don't want it. What is our position? We think we are serious seekers of the truth. So you go to somebody, fellow says, oh, Reem, you'll have a Mercedes-Benz, take the key. Thank you very much. Who would want the truth and throw away the Benz? So you see, that is a seeker, like Nachiketas. Because Nachiketas was a seeker like that, Yamadeva teaches him what is the secret of immortality. Not to anybody else. And the whole Upanishad is about how to touch that which is the essence of everything, and which also, fortunately, resides in everybody's heart. Which when found, one is so satisfied that one has nothing else to find. So I came to this because of the fire, one who keeps his fire, and one who discards the fire. Krishna is also implying, externally if you don't want to keep a fire, it's okay. Don't miss out on the inner fire the inner fire that aspires to touch things in it. Let it be lit. So that is also not, it's like an impotent man saying, I don't want to have a child. Anyway. Then the second shloka says, O son of Pandu, what is called sannyasa or renunciation is identical to yoga or discipline. What kind of discipline? Of selfless action. You might be wondering, I thought Dhyana Yoga deals with techniques of meditation. What is Krishna going on blabbering about? You would have thought it's a shortcut, sit down, breathe in, without Brahmasmi. Absolutely. So, he says, O son of Pandu, what is called sannyasa or renunciation is identical to yoga or discipline. What kind of discipline? Of selfless action. Karma yoga. For whoever has not abandoned the subtle hankerings and self-centered objectives can never become a yogi or practitioner of yoga. You can do asanas, of course. You don't have to get free of any subtle hankerings to do asanas. Krishna is saying that anyone who is not free of self-centered activity should not free himself from action. But he should continue to act, but act in a way which is for others and not for oneself, so that the mind becomes purified and then becomes fit for meditation. All subtle hankerings have got. Till then, you cannot escape from work. Work till you are free by doing work which is not for oneself but for others. Purify your mind and then you can reach quiet meditation. After you have reached a higher state, you may work or you may not work. That's left to you. But till then, don't think that we already reached there. Sometimes even in meditation, when we reach a little bit of quietness, we think, now we have attained Nirvikalpa Samadhi. When you come off from there, what happens? See a supermarket, you want to buy everything in there. Especially if you meditate in Dubai. So, till that is reached, one should work. That's what Krishna is. Don't mistake laziness for spiritual life. And the work should be selfless, not for oneself. Till one gets purified. Now, in this matter, I'd like to discuss the concept of Sattva, Rajas and Tamas, the three gunas from Sankhya. Now, although it was found in Sankhya philosophy, it's used by all Vedantins also, including Shankara. And this is that everything on this earth, including the mind, is governed by three attributes, Sattva, Rajas and Tamas. Now, Tamoguna, Tamas. Tamoguna is laziness, inertia, always wanting to create harm. And Sattva is goodness, tranquility of mind, always wanting to create good thoughts, good vibrations, do good. And Rajas is action, activity. Now, since Rajas comes in the middle, it is influenced either by Tamoguna or by Sattva. Usually, you have more Tamoguna attached and less Sattva. The advice is, work in such a way, work involves Rajas, Rajoguna. Work in such a way that more of Sattva-guna comes into your mind and the Tamoguna is slowly wiped off. Now you should bear in mind, a man who has attained the highest levels of Sattva is also calm and tranquil and quiet. He may sit in an easy chair with his legs up. You would think he is doing nothing. The lazy fellow who has none of these is also can sit in an easy chair with his legs up. How do you distinguish? This is laziness. This is not tranquility, it's inertia. That is not inertia, it is tranquility. So from Tamoguna to go to Sattvaguna, you need to pass through Rajas, activity. If you are not active, then you can either go off into Tamoguna. Generally we fall into that. You don't want to think any good of anybody. You like to sleep always. You think that Shushupti, deep sleep, is equivalent to Turiya, which is Samadhi, which is not. I know a good friend of mine who meditates after lunch every day. And if you want to hear the Omkar, you have to go near his door. Omkar sounds like this. So don't mistake Sattvaguna for Tamoguna. That's what it means. Okay? So till then what happens? Continue doing work which is not self-centered activity, but action for others. Unselfish activity. A little bit selfishness will be there. That's normal. Don't try to overreach. Moderation is the key. Go slowly. But don't have illusions. I've already attained Samadhi. Today somebody said, I get many visions. So I think I said, you cannot have as many visions as an LSD addict. Not possible. They have much more visions than we do. It's not the visions that are important. It's the tranquility of mind. Can we hold the mind tranquil in the midst of all circumstances? Sarvatra samabuddhaya. Again Gita. Can the mind be quiet and tranquil? Whether we face a good situation or a bad situation. In fact, if somebody calls me an idiot, can I refrain from calling him back a fool? Or can I say, you are a wonderful man, maybe I'm an idiot, you have pointed it out, thank you very much. Who knows? Right? So, now work and service also means in the context of devotion. Something else also, which is first is listening. That's also work. And now we are listening, I hope. So, listening is one step to action. Action doesn't mean taking a spade and digging a hole, please. Action means activity, mind and body. So listening, the word used in the Bhakti literature is Shravanam. Shravanam, listening. There's a lot of difference between hearing and listening. You can hear but not listen also. You understand what I mean? Sometimes we hear many things, but we're really not listening because our mind is occupied with something else, comes in from here and goes out. So Shravanam, or listening, means carefully listening to what is being said. It also in the bhakti context means listening to the glories of the Lord. Then what happens? After hearing, what do? Mananam. Take it into your mind and let it work inside. Then you have Kirtana. No, does Kirtan means building yourself into some hysteria, or does Kirtan mean something else? Kirtan means to totally surrender to the divine and use words which are sweet and which touch the heart of everyone. This is Kirtan. On the other side, Kirtana also means singing the names of the Lord. That's also Kirtana. But as long as the mind is not doing Shravanam and Mananam, Kirtanam becomes half. It's very easy to prove this. When we are singing devotionals, I heard many people are going to sing tomorrow. I think only I am not singing, everybody else is singing. So, good. So, singing, I have seen this happen. You sing in great ecstasy and go up. And after the kirtan is over, next minute you all go down. And you do things which you normally also don't do. But not all, I'm saying. This also happens. So Kirtanam means following Shravanam, Mananam, then the next step being Kirtanam. Singing the names of the Lord. Because music is so beautiful and nice that you utilize it for good purposes. Music is wonderful. Music is one thing which actually needs no words. When you are standing in the forest on a full moon night, full moon is Luna, so you are standing under the Luna on a full moon night in the forest, you are also slightly lunatic. And then, which is good. If you're too sane, you can't find many things. Big madness is essential. So, and then you hear the beautiful music of the flute somewhere. Do you need words? Or do you need to say, oh, I don't know Telugu, so I can't understand this? Flute music is music, whether you know English or German or Italian, it doesn't matter. Music is music. So music is so important that way. So which is why in Kirtana, music is included. Because it takes you directly beyond that, which is beyond words. And what is beyond words? The Supreme Reality is beyond words. Yet vacha nabhyutitam, that which words cannot describe. Music. And therefore words attain a different meaning when they are set to music. So when the mind is purified by Shravana and Manana, and when music comes out with some words covering it in some way, that becomes Kirtana. After Kirtana, what do we do? Padasevana. Padasevana meaning worshipping the feet of the Lord. And the Lord is everywhere. So where are the Lord's feet? Everywhere. So worshipping everything on this earth, considering everything as a manifestation of the Lord, is Padasevana. You wash my feet and drink. I wouldn't call it Padasevana. Maybe I have some skin disease and after 3 days you Padasevana actually to worship the feet of the Lord which are everywhere. You know this Rigveda Samhita as a Purusha Sutta. Sahasra Shishya Purushaha Sahasranshaha Sahasrapad Sabdhruvim Vishvato Vitva Atyatishthita Dasangra. That Supreme Being is the 1,000-headed Lord, Purusha. 1,000 is a metaphor, it means numberless. With 1,000 arms and 1,000 feet. And yet the good news is that 10 angulas above your navel he resides. That's the good news. That supreme all-pervading reality with numberless heads and numberless hands. So how do you do Padasevana? Through the numberless feet which are here. So tomorrow if I ask you to line up and do Padasevana, don't get worried. Jesus Christ is supposed to have washed the feet of his disciples. New Pope has started. Please, I'm not a Christian missionary, okay? Don't get wrong ideas. So, that is Padasevana. There is a Supreme Lord. You can't see the feet. Where will you see the feet? Here. From the manifestations. And in every heart resides the Supreme Being as the Antaryami, as a spark of the all-pervading divinity. So you are all divine. There is nobody. This is the whole message of Vedanta. You are divine. Don't think you are just animals. And because you are divine, you have infinite potential. So don't reduce it by imagining, I can't do this, I can't do that. Infinite potential. And therefore infinite bliss. And therefore when you touch it, everything is complete. See, why do we work? So we can add more and feel complete, right? Why do I get married? Because I feel I can become complete. After that I do have a child, now I feel I'm complete. First I become a assistant general manager. When I become general manager, I feel I'm complete. I've started working on a painting, I finished it, now I'm complete. So this desire for completeness is built in each one of us. Everybody has it, complete. Not complete, complete. And the final completeness is the Lord Himself, as the Supreme Being, who has been described in the Vedas as Purna, complete. And it is this innate desire for that that makes us go through all this to become complete. And when that is touched, there is no more complete to be sought anywhere else. Which doesn't mean you become a vegetable. Then you are filled with a compassion to let others know what it is all about. You can work very hard on that sometimes. It is this supreme completeness which has been described as Purnamada Purnamidam. That is complete. This is also complete. Not 1%, but so complete. Purnat Purnamaduchyate. You can remove this completeness. It has already been removed. You have become individuals. But Purnat Purnasya Purnam, you have taken it out. Purnameva avashishyate. Because you have differentiated, you still remain the same. But you can call it Brahman, you can call it Shivam, all auspiciousness. You can call it Narayana, you can call it any name you want. But it is there. So Padasevana. Now, usually what happens? We are so caught up by our limited body and mind that we are only thinking of our deficiencies. I can't do this. I'm so weak. The mind thinks, oh, what is the use of, even some say, what is the use of living? Pliny the Elder in Greece was teaching a class and he said, there is no difference between life and death. So the students said, sir, then why don't you die? He said, because there is no difference. So, in the same way, the mind always thinks that it is weak, it is small, it can't do anything. Instead of that, can we turn around and say, maybe now, but in me is an infinite spark, and therefore my potential is infinite. Can I break out from this narrow little covering which I have put on myself? Not to do anything, but to realize the completeness of this inner reality. Once you wake up, don't stop till you reach the goal. Just that Swami Vivekananda very usually quoted saying, Uttishta Jagrata, Prapya Varanya Bodhat, awake, arise and stop not till the goal is reached. Can you do that? Why this happens is, the Gita says, the Atma, here Atma meaning the mind, not the inner self, can degrade and downgrade and at the same time upraise and make you better. It's the same mind. So be friendly with a mind that takes you up and shun the mind that pulls you down. It's the mind which can make you. It can be your friend, it can also be your foe. So we should learn to develop that mind which is your friend and discard that which is your foe. Foe meaning? So you wonder, where is meditation coming now? Supposed to be Dhyana Yoga. Keep on lecturing on how to live. Become. Chitatmana prasartasya paramatma samahita itoshna sukha dukkhesu tatha mana apamani. In one who has conquered his mind, the self remains, or the mind, let us say, remains steady and unperturbed. In heat or cold, in pleasure or pain, in honor or dishonor. See, our life always revolves around what other people think of us. Right? If somebody dishonors me, I feel very upset. He doesn't know who I am. I went to that function, they didn't know who I am. I always tell them, so nice, you could have eaten and come out quiet. But no, they didn't. So, and then they dishonored me by not talking to me. Hey, what is this? I mean, what does it really mean? I mean, is there really any sense in this? Can we live by what others think of us? Or can we stand by ourselves? Knowing at least theoretically that we are a spark of the divine. And we can reach the highest if we apply ourselves. Can we not forget what others think about us? What is others think? And what about sorrow? Do you know anybody in life who has only happiness? There will be some sorrow somewhere. So what? This is life, part of nature. And also when some happiness comes with full force, just be on the alert, because around the corner some small sorrow may be lurking. I mean, it is there. Normal. And when you say, oh, I'm very happy, so that means I put 3 crores in the bank. Tomorrow sorrow, income tax knocking at my door. This is normal in life. Oh, I enjoyed the food, especially in our retreat. So nice, I had 4 vadas and 5 idlis. Then sorrow comes up. So can we adjust in such a way that we can stay without the extremes? And when it comes, can we say, okay, fine, this is what it should be. I'm not saying you should become great yogis and welcome, call upon sorrow to come on you. No. Tall order, not possible for everybody. Maybe it's possible for some, but not possible for everybody. At least when it comes, you should be able to say, oh, good friend, sorrow has come. The old song is that, Dukh to hai apna sati, something. Sukh to aati jati hai, something like that. So if you develop, friends, if you develop friendship with sorrow, then it will lose its sting. There are even people who enjoy sorrow, that's also there. Yeah, I know people, old generation of people, The evening he'll sit with a small pig, especially ex-army guys. I'm sorry, no army. And then have sleep. And what are they enjoying? Kel Saigal Jab Dilli to saying my heart is broken and they are enjoying it. So there is also built-in enjoyment in sorrow in some way. So don't run away from it. If you sing and nobody appreciates it, it is okay. I have a friend who always emails me, things happen. He sang but nobody listened to him. So it doesn't matter. Life has both. Especially for the young, note, you fail for an exam, don't go into depression. Stop and analyze, where did I go wrong? It's a good lesson for you to wake up. So let me, instead of wasting time, do something by which I can get success in the next step. What is the point of saying failure? So keep the mind balanced. In fact, a person who has touched the inner self, who has reached a state of spiritual communion, is not affected by both. Happiness comes, okay, nice, shake hands, have a cup of tea, now it's time, go. Sorrow, same thing, come sit down, have a cup of tea. Chalo. So, we are not affected by both. Because it is in the nature of the world for both to come. Why? Because you are rooted in your inner self, which is permanent, which is by its very nature blissful, and nobody can take it away from you. There's a beautiful statement in the Bible which says, lay treasures in your heart where thieves do not break in and steal. We all have that treasure, where no thief can get in and steal. If you have that, would you be bothered about anything else? I mean, you have to lead your life, of course. Take everything as a lesson. There are doctors. Do you think all patients that are treated by doctors will be cured or will survive? Is this possible to definitely say so? You can't. Sometimes, yes, you try your best. If it goes, it goes. And there's no point in it. There's the next one coming. You have to look after. Also, specially noteworthy in excellence is he who is even-minded in his outlook on friend and foe, on comrade or stranger, on the neutral or the ally, on the good and evil, even on the evil ones. That means, for a person who has touched the tranquility of mind, which comes through the understanding of the divine, there is actually no enemy. You learn to see the good in even the worst circumstances. Normally what happens is we try to see the worst in the best circumstances. This fellow is behaving well, but I'm sure he's scheming to do something to me. Suspicion. Instead of that, can we look at everyone being a manifestation of the divine? Not get bogged down by it. So there is no friend or foe. There is no comrade or enemy. Everybody is the same. Can we look like that at everybody? Not easy, not easy. Externally, we might have to live with some people, they may be close to you. Deep down, we should understand that they are all human beings with a spark of the divine in each, which is also in me, therefore they want. which is what happens is, we will not nurse a grudge against anybody. And nursing a grudge against somebody is the most negative way of living. You cannot even expand yourself if you nurse a grudge against somebody else. So throw that overboard and say, everyone is the same. I have no friends, no enemies. No. People say that you have to teach yoga. Okay. You can teach yoga only to some place people or to everyone? Clear, is it? Why I am saying this? 2 years ago, somebody came to me and said, our communist cadres in Kerala want to do yoga. Nobody is teaching us. Nobody is coming for. I said, I will come. So I went and we had a yoga session. 6 months they trained. 1,000 people gave us a beautiful demonstration. Only yoga asanas, of course. Little bit of breathing and meditation. The next day the paper said that now so and so Shriyam is teaching yoga to the red flag. I said flags make no difference to Shriyam. It can be white, yellow, green, he will still teach yoga. So what happens if you practice yoga? At least in the evening when you practice yoga, you won't go into the bar. You will be practicing yoga. There is no time for that. Early morning if you do yoga, you won't calculate whose office is to be burned, where to throw the stones. It's growing now. It become 2,000, 3,000 people practicing. People from Kerala will know. It was all in the newspapers. Don't discriminate. People may have different ideologies, different thoughts. This world is a multi-dimensional entity with inputs from all sides. Some inputs may be negative also. But our idea is to look at the person and try to do something. Okay. After having said that, yogi yunjita satatam atmanam rahasi stita ekaki yata chitta atma nirashita parigraha. So let the yogi constantly practice spiritual communion. No spiritual communion has been said till now, except how to live. So yama niyamas are very important before we go into Dhyana. These have been described. Okay. And then, therefore, a yogi who has understood all that we said, not what I said, what Sri Bhagavan Vacha is having understood, let him then practice spiritual communion. How? Residing in a solitary place, desireless, possessionless, and disciplined in body and mind. Now here again people say we can't do this. We can't go and reside in solitude because we have much work to do and so on. The implication is, for the practice of deep meditation, it is necessary to have at least short periods of solitude. Not that all your life you should be in solitude, that's not what it means. When you start your practice, it's good to be free of distractions. If you sit in the middle of distractions, how are you going to practice? Therefore, first, in your day-to-day life, keep one period of solitude for yourself. Let nobody interfere with that. 2. Also, whenever possible, once in 2 months or even 3 months, fix a time when you say, now I'm going to a place where I can quietly sit, where I know nobody. If I know somebody, then it gets complicated. Even today, in my present phase of life, I often go and sit in solitude for some days. where nobody knows me, which is becoming rarer and rarer, but I find somehow a place. Even in Badrinath, if I go and sit, the travel G will come and say, no. So you have to need some kind of a solitude. So, now I'm going to say something. Please don't load it with your own imagination. You can come to Madanapalli and spend some time in solitude. All are welcome. But don't come to only to see me. It's not as if you should come there only to see me. Because I may or may not be there. But those who have gone there, they know that there is a place where you can live in solitude, practice for some time, have simple food and come back. No harm. Actually, it is very useful. You see, solitude is important to grow. Once you have grown, you can have solitude in the middle of the marketplace, but not otherwise. Unless you are trained, this is not possible. But you can sit in the middle of all the tamasha that goes on and still be in solitude, but you can't do that in the beginning. You have to train yourself. So, having understood what has been said till now, may the yogi sit in solitude and practice his meditation. That's what they say. See this little worm that's crawling on the ground in the wet mud. One day it decides to go and meditate in solitude. And then it builds a cocoon around itself. Beautiful cocoon. And is meditating inside. I don't know what it does, maybe meditating. And then, does it stay there forever? No. Then the cocoon breaks. And what comes out? Crawling worm or a flying butterfly? Colorful wings. Flying high up in the trees. Except that some moths are not allowed to grow. Because the moment the cocoon is ready, human beings pluck them and put them into hot water. They make silk out of it. With that silk they cover the gods. Poor fellow built this whole thing out of his desire for a home. In fact, I've written a short story called Death of a Builder. And then you pull it and put it in hot water, make silk. Then who do you send it to? Gods to wear. Let me inform you that there is another kind of silk called khadar silk, which is made only after the moth has flown. But it is not such high quality as the other one. People prefer that. And those who use this are sometimes pure vegetarians. They don't cause harm to any living, except they have to put silkworms in boiling water. So see the contradiction in our lives. How we live. So, Lata, what happened? Did you use silk? Getting so straight. So, go to a solitary spot, and we are human beings. Nobody is going to put us in hot water. Meditate till you become butterflies with beautiful wings, and you can fly, soar up in the sky and see the infinite form from below. So, after having gone to a nice place to meditate, what do we do next? Have a clean spot, which is neither too high nor too low. Now practice. It should be made with kusha grass spread over, with skin and cloth. Firmly seated on it, the yogi should practice spiritual communion with mind concentrated and cutting off the working of the imaginative faculty and the senses for self-purification. Now please don't say I didn't start meditation because I didn't get kusha grass or a deer skin or a cloth. You can sit on anything. This is the traditional description. If you have a nice rug, fold it like this. You have to buy the same rug. And sit on it. Why neither too high nor too low? Safety, physical safety. Go and sit so high up there and meditate. You might get unconscious and fall. And then you'll have to go to the dentist. So, and too low, you go make a pit and sit inside, help the scorpions. And, these are all practical science. So what they're trying to say is sit in a standard place, which is not too extremes, not too hard and not too soft. If it is too hard, you can't sit like this because you'll get hurt. If it is too soft, should I tell you what to do? What you will do? Please. So, neither too hard nor too soft. So, a rug is a good thing. So, from our point of view, I instruct people that when you meditate and use a rug, don't give it to anybody. Use it only. They're not being selfish, okay? Don't give it to anybody. Use it only for yourself. And when you're not using it, roll it and put it away. Because any object, including a cloth or a rug, which we use, soon gathers our thoughts and vibrations. And if you give it to somebody else, when you sit down and meditate, your mind becomes very sensitive. You'll absorb all that guy is thinking about. How to shoot animals. Somebody will be surprised, I'm thinking, and suddenly I'm thinking I should shoot a wild boar. It's come from the rug. So, keep your own asana. Sit in a comfortable place. Then, with all this I'm saying only this much. Sit in a comfortable place. Have something firm to sit on. Neither too soft. That's enough. Okay. Then keeping your imaginative faculties and senses under control. While sitting down, if you are near the kitchen, don't let your mind wander to the vadas that are being fried. Cut it off. That's why solitude is important. Or imaginative. I sit down and I started imagining. One day I will be a great yogi. Then the imagination. There will be many ladies come. No, sorry. So keep your imaginative faculties under control. And then what? How do we sit? Samam kaya shiro grivam dharayan nachalam stira. Holding the body, head and neck erect, motionless and firm, gazing at the tip of the nose and not here and there, fearless, serene, restrained in mind, and established in the vow of not overindulging. One should sit in spiritual communion, looking upon me as the highest and the most precious. And here Krishna speaks, when he says me, he means the Supreme Being. So what are the steps? Sit in a comfortable place. Keep a rug where you can sit, which is neither too hard nor too soft. Keep your spine and head and neck straight in a straight line. There are many things happen here. And steady. Don't allow your gaze to keep shifting. So either you can fix it in the Bhrumadhya or the Nasika, here, in the middle. Either way. Close your eyes, you can sit here. Or, if you are like, there are people who every morning meditate on a linga. So Keep it in such a way that you can look at that, so that the mind is not wandering. There must be something. You sit there and sit quietly and meditate for self-purification. Think that the highest goal is to reach the Supreme. Then Krishna adds a corollary to this by saying, Arjuna, success in this yoga which I described to you is not for those who nobody has read the Gita. Bad. Yes. Yes.
Extremes.
This yoga is not for him who eats 10 vadas at a stretch. He doesn't say that. He says not one who eats too much. Also, this yoga is not for him who sleeps too much and also sleeps too little. Not the final story is not that this yoga is not for him who eats too much. It also says this yoga is not for him who eats too little. Also, you keep on fasting because think that if you fast you will attain God fine, very fast. You become so powerless. You need to tell them to chant Om. Oh. I'm not against fasting per se, we do sometimes, but don't overdo things. Don't eat too much. You know what will happen by eating too much. I don't have to tell you. And don't sleep too much. That also you know. But also don't sleep too little. Don't say, oh, whole night I'm going to sit and do my Kriya. That's at the end of it. Then after 6 months you won't do anything. One day. And in the morning when you go to office, you will suffer. Sleep will come then. So moderation is the key. Neither too much, not too little. If one does so, temperate in food and also in recreation. Recreation is also mentioned, okay? I mean, not that you shouldn't watch TV, but don't watch the whole night. Fix timings. And there are good programs also, back programs. Everything is there. So there should be a moderation. If one does all that, then what happens? Yoga brings about the cessation of samsara, the travails of samsara. It gets rid of the sorrows of samsara. Then what happens? The mind becomes steady like a flame where there is no wind. Yatha deepo nivatasto. Like a deepa which stands steady with no wind blowing on it. This is how a yogi's mind is described. A mind that is like a steady flame. And then that mind then unites with the Supreme Self, the spark of which is in our mind. And the yogi then experiences endless bliss which is beyond the ken of the senses, which can be touched by the purified intellect and the calm mind. And established there, he does not move from the truth anymore. Having obtained which, no other gain is considered as greater. Remaining in that, one is not shaken by the heaviest of sorrows. Then it's all a description about the yogi's supreme bliss. Since we are not there, let us talk about, leave a few chapters. Shlokas. I don't have to go on talking to you about that endless bliss, and you'll say, what is this? I don't. So, you're free of sorrow, you're full of bliss, no sorrow can touch you. And that state is called moksha, freedom. Not that you don't act, but you not act in full freedom. But Arjuna is like us. After hearing this whole Ramayana, this whole Gita, Arjuna says, my friend, all that may be so. How can I keep my mind free from the wind like a flame? It's very easy for you to say that. Even Arjuna is not bad, he is better than us. He says, you can say all this, but it's not possible. You could have asked me to control the wind, it would have been easier. But the mind, make it steady like a flame, impossible for me, so difficult for me. So Arjuna says, O slayer of Madhu, owing to the fickleness of mind, I can't establish in spiritual communion through equanimity as instructed by you. Not modern, okay? Those days also people ask this question. So, the mind is so fickle and turbulent and powerful and unyielding. I think it's easier to control the wind than control the mind. You have said all this, okay, I heard. Hey, Bhagavan Vacha. The Blessed Lord said. Now Arjuna is like kind of down. Become a little desperate. I can't do this. So Krishna peps him up. Master psychologist. So what does he call him? Mahabaho. Oh, mighty arm. So Arjuna peps up. Oh yeah. Mahabaho, what does he say? Undoubtedly the mind is fickle and difficult to be checked, I understand. Yet, O son of Kunti, it can be brought under control by dispassion and spiritual practice. Practice is essential. So strive harder than ever and bring the mind under control. Don't give up. You are a mighty armed one. Arjuna doesn't let go there. Arjuna probably read a new book that's out called The Argumentative Indian. What's that? Who wrote that? Some economist. So Arjuna, wait. All that is fine. Mahabahu, you have said fine. But let me ask you one thing. What is the fate of the man who, though endowed with firm faith, is not steadfast in his practice of Kriya? No, in his practice. Owing to distractions and therefore fails to reach the spiritual goal. What happens to such a person? I have great faith in what you are saying, but I am not able to put it into practice. Put it into practice. I can't strive as you said. What happens to me then? What happens to a person like me? Oh, mighty armed Lord, tit for tat. Bewildered in the path of Brahman, not finding the true reality, supportless. Does he lose both this world and the next? Does he perish like a rain cloud, rent asunder? He is in the Trishanku Swarga, is neither up nor down. I don't have the capacity to reach there. And I have left this because I don't think this is good. So where do I go? I'm in the middle. What happens to me? What happens to a person like that? That is my doubt, O Krishna. Who else shall I ask but you? Shri Bhagavan was. He says, O Partha, such a person whom you have described, whose minds are set on the goal, but who has not been able to do it, to practice, to move towards it. You think he will get lost? No, he will not get lost. Such a person is never lost either in this world or thereafter. Know for certain that whoever has set his foot upon the path never goes to ruin. Even if you have put your foot, one foot on the path, don't think you will go into any ruin, because you don't have to start from square one. Whatever bank balance you have gathered in this life, in the spiritual effort, will be saved, so that when you come back, you start with a good bank balance. So don't feel desperate and dejected. So how? Such a yogi who tried hard but could not win and who fell off from yoga, it's called yoga bhrashta. Says such a yoga bhrashta, after death, goes to the spheres of the righteous, and after living there for unnumbered years, enjoying the result of his good actions, is reborn in this world in a pure and prosperous family, so that he can continue his practice. He or she, born in a pure and prosperous family. Why prosperous? Pure, as we can understand. Prosperous family, because then he doesn't have to spend his energy and life on trying to become prosperous. Or he has seen what prosperity means and doesn't care. Otherwise you're poor and you're always thinking, oh, the rich man is the alien. So he's born in a pure and prosperous family, or he is reborn in a family of men full of wisdom and spirituality. Rebirth under such conditions is very hard to get in this world. What is the hard to get in this world? What are the qualifications? One, to be born in a family of people full of wisdom and spirituality, and to be born in a pure and prosperous family. This is very difficult to attain. But the yoga bhrashta who tried and didn't get there is reborn in such a situation, so that he will regain his spiritual discernment from the previous birth, and he will strive harder for perfection. Therefore, Arjuna, be you a yogi. This is Dhyana. Chapter called Dhyana. So you will notice generally, roughly, there are two things. One is how to live life with your mind fixed on spiritual achievement. And two, that you need to steadily practice. In fact, the Yoga Sutras have also said, Nairantarya Abhyasena. Regular practice is essential. So two things. One is the way of life. Shift it. So that your goal is something else, but you're not running away from life. Premature running away is very dangerous. You will come and fall back with a double thud. Change the way you live and practice regularly. If both these are done together, then you will surely reach there, which is not there but here. That tranquility and quietness, realize the essence of your being and touch that which is beyond any sorrow. Then with the great yogis and rishis who have said, you can also say, aha, I have attained. More than it. That is a prayer that we normally chant. The beginning and end of every endeavor. Lead me from the unreal to the real. Asato ma satgamaya. Lead me from darkness unto light. Tamaso ma jyotirgamaya. Lead me from mortality to immortality. Mrityo amritam gamaya. So when you go to the temple and eat, lick amrit, understand the meaning of the word amrit. It means amrita, deathless. And prasada is a substitute word in Sanskrit for peace and happiness. Anandam. If you look at the Sanskrit dictionary, one of the meanings of happiness, ananda, is prasada. So all this has been worked out in daily life. While doing simple actions, you remember the highest. 12 o'clock now. What is the next?
1 o'clock is lunch.
1 o'clock. So we have 1.5 hours. No, 1 hour. Let me in brief describe to you, because many people are very unhappy. This time, this retreat, there is no Kriya. So let me briefly explain what Kriya is. Okay? Not the practice, but we'll see how it works. But see, first of all, please understand that there is no condition that you will reach that spiritual freedom and happiness only if you practice Kriya. There is no such thing. There have been great many people who have reached their goal who didn't know anything about Kriya. One is Mirabai. What Kriya did Mirabai practice? Nothing except her heart's only desire to find the Lord. So even if you take Kriya, if that is not there, you will not reach the goal. That's what I am trying to imply. Sitting in some form of exercise to keep yourself healthy, okay, fine, that's also there. But in general, it may make you feel better and so on, but the goal is spiritual. And there have been many people who have not practiced any kind of Kriya who have reached the highest. On the side of wisdom, Dhyana Yoga, what Kriya did Ramana Maharshi practice? Nothing. What Kriya? Nothing. Can I say he didn't reach the? No, I can't. So please get it out of your mind that Kriya is some kind of jet plane routes. Many people have written it for bunker. Everything you need to practice, you need to give attention. There is no shortcut in this matter. There is one shortcut. You can cut your ego into two. But it is the longest cut. It's so difficult. So, please keep this in mind. Second, if you have taken Kriya, if you have taken Kriya, you are not superior to anybody else, please. This also get it out of your mind. I have taken Kriya, so like nothing like that. There may be somebody who has taken no Kriya, whose mind may be so good and pure, who might be even now communicating with the Supreme Lord. Who knows? Okay. Now, the meaning of Kriya. The Kriya simply means a method, action. Anything that you do is a Kriya. So there are many Kriyas in the Yoga Sutras. In the science of yoga, there are many techniques called Kriyas. Idea is to calm the mind and make it tranquil so that it becomes the tarmac from which you can take off to higher things. So it may be useful, I agree with that. So that therefore there must be many kriyas, right? It can't be just one kriya. There will be many methods to reach the goal, to make the mind tranquil, reach the highest. Can't be that there is only one. However, when I say kriya, I'm talking about that kriya, that particular method, which was taught by a being called Sri Guru Babaji, and which has come down to me through my teacher Maheshwaranath. This is what I mean by kriya. Please understand there may be other kriyas in different traditions. Don't think that there is only one kriya. When I say kriya, this is what I mean. Now, if you think it is good or bad, for me it has been good. I have derived benefits out of it, therefore I think it's nice for people to learn. That's it. But just as in the beginning of Dhyana Yoga, some qualities and attributes were described, you should also side by side try to develop these qualities. Otherwise, Kriya will be of no use. And don't expect that on the third day of practicing Kriya, you will be lifted up to heaven. Depends on your background and your past. But generally, don't sit with that illusion in your mind. It will take many days, perhaps many years, perhaps. Took many lives for me. Keep working on it. And it needs 15 to half an hour, 45 minutes every day. That much time. If you can't give that much time, then how important is it to God? Other day somebody said morning he can't meditate. I said, why? My wife also can't meditate. So this must be something he is true. We both can't meditate in the morning. Why? No, we have to take the dogs for a walk. So if that is more important.
Priorities.
Your priorities. So also you should keep your priority foremost and say this is important. If all these things are put together, then Kriya may be useful. And it involves a certain visualization and the Guru Mantra. Most important one, that are linked. And then the way of controlling your prana and apana. Prana, apana, samayukta, both must be made equal. And how to raise your consciousness from the lowest to the highest. This is the practice of Kriya. There are a couple of rules to be followed. One, practice daily. Second, one, practice daily. Simple.
Don't hurt it. Don't hurt others. Any living.
No.
At the
more
same
than
time.
that.
At the same
Truthful.
time.
No, always truth.
Don't teach others. This is Kali Yuga, Everybody, because there are very few disciples now, all are gurus. So don't start teaching. Who taught you? Oh, Sri, then it must be authentic Kriya. So don't worry, I'll teach you. How much? 5,000 bucks. Watch out. 3 you can keep, 2 you can send me. Nowadays it's like that. Like coffee day, it's called franchise. We have no franchise. Please. So one, practice daily, and as some friends said, try to keep at one time. Any one time, fix it. And 2, don't start immediately teaching. If you don't know what we are doing, what will you teach? And 3rd, try as much as possible to stick to the truth. If for 12 years, if one doesn't utter a single line, the Shastras say that by mistake, if you utter something improper, it will become reality. So try your best. I mean, it's not easy. You know, we are living in a world where if you see somebody you don't like, you say, "Oh, how nice." So, be careful. So try to follow that as far as possible. And last, not the least, try as much as possible not to cause injury or pain to other living beings. Okay. And when you say other living beings, please include human beings also. Yeah. You want to protect cows? Okay, fine. Okay. But who protects cows? Cows are human beings. Who builds goshalas? Can cows build? No. So when you say all living beings, please include human beings. These are only simple 4 things to be followed. Very simple. Then we can practice Kriya. You think we can? I am only saying try your best. I am not saying 100%. If you can follow all in 100%, you already reached. Nothing to try there. Now do commit mistakes, but keep this in mind. Okay? Above all, I would say don't feel because you have taken Kriya, you are superior to everybody else. That is the worst affliction that one can have for the spiritual path. So I must be more spiritual than I. Got it? Still, if you want to take Kriya, we'll see how to do it. No? Yes, sir. She was crying in the morning, about to cry. So then we'll work out something, Balaji. Some small Kriya session at some point. Now that I have let the cat out of the bag. Anyway, there are lots of people here who have taken Kriya for many years and who are dedicatedly not practicing. Don't be like that. Prove that you are better than them.
Yes.
What? Okay, so I think we should conclude now. Thank you. Give me a little time. I have a cup of coffee. It must have gone cold yet.